Budding story in Golden State. Klay Thompson, the future Hall of Famer and key cog in their dynasty they've had over the past 7, 8 years. 8 years, I guess, 9 years. He was benched tonight.
Oh, man.
Believe it or not. He's also still their second leading scorer, 17 points a game.
We talked about that. Remember I said that they should start to move off of him.
It's interesting. Wow. This month, February, which isn't a full month yet. It's only about 8 games or so, 7 games. He's only averaged 13 points, Rob, on 38% shooting. Now, 2 games ago, he did drop 26.
Right, he had that
Utah.
one big game, but it's been mostly bad.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine. In January, he averaged 20, but this month he scored 8, 10, 5, 12. Like, he's been off. And I think the thing is, Rob, last night we know, he committed the foul. They're down 3 to the Clippers. He commits the foul with 39 seconds left on purpose, just kind of losing track of what's going on. Clippers go down, hit the free throws, make it a 5-point game. It's basically over.
That's not what you want to do, right?
Everybody was like, what are you doing, dude? The thing about Klay right now, Rob, is it's not only that his game, he's just getting older and he's had the injuries. And I know he sees Steph still playing great at 35. Klay's a year younger, 34, and probably feels like, well, I should be able to be my old self too. So I think it's not only that he's losing his game, but he's not handling it well at all mentally and emotionally, Rob. And that's probably why they've gone to the benching as much as the drop in production, just because he's not handling it well.
But don't you also think for him, there's a degree there too, Chris, financially. Remember, he wanted a new contract. He thought that they kind of slighted him. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And maybe it's wearing on him as well. Because I just think,
he should. I'm sure he's got enough money.
It's not about whether he has money or not.
Right.
I agree with you there. But I think he was expecting a contract. I think he was expecting a contract.
And you and I know, as well as anybody, a lot of times players aren't realistic.
It's just right.
He can't step. You and I can look at this, and Rob G and Alex, whoever.
But no, he's looking at it.
Ain't no way you paying this dude.
He's saying Draymond Green got a new deal. Steph is making $50 million. Like you start to look around. I helped win these championships too. Yeah. Don't make it like I wasn't a part of it. I got hurt.
The Draymond one might bother him more than anything.
Don't you think?
And I don't want to say bother like there's beef between them. But Draymond is not what he used to be either. He's still better than Klay overall, but he's not what he used to be. And, Rob, also he may be looking at and all the trouble Draymond causes.
Yep. So you reward that dude. I've been a good soldier. I worked myself back, Chris, from 2 major injuries to get back to play. This ain't like I just fell off. I got hurt. Yeah, I got hurt giving my all.
I get it, but you know what? And this is where you just gotta. I like Klay a lot, and he's a grown man. He's a man, so I don't want to, insult him or anything. But sometimes this is just life. You know how many people would like to be where you and I are?
Well, I know it every day.
Right,
every day,
and they're thinking, I could do what they do. Why am I not making the money they're making? Rob G's always saying that. Why ain't I making the money they make?
Rob G, you say that?
But sometimes
every day.
Every day.
Sometimes you gotta just accept that life isn't a bowl of chocolates. And you know what I mean? And I get it. Everything you said was legit, Rob. And he may very well be feeling that way. And we can actually understand it. But this is the reality. And your life and your career has been tremendous. And so, it is what it is. Doesn't make it easy to deal with. I get it. But this is where we're at. It's nearing the end for Klay. It's just, and they would be out of their minds to give him like an extension.
I can't see that now with even benching him, Chris, even in a season that's gone awry for them. You know what I mean? Like, like that's probably even worse to say, like, we don't even think we could get out of it with Klay playing. We'd rather play other people.
They've been playing well lately. So,
You know?
I mean, they're not, I don't even think they're as good as the Lakers. But they don't really have a chance, but I think they're just going to go for it and see what they can do. And
how about the whole idea of bringing LeBron in? You think that maybe got him too, that he would be he was the guy that if they were to make a deal, point. You know what I mean? Where you say, he's well, who are they going to trade? I got an expiring contract. Was it me? Oh, right. Wow. No, they called the Lakers.
It would have had to include either him or Wiggins to make it work financially.
Right.
And probably Klay. But that's a good point. That might be getting to him as well. So we'll keep you posted on that. But Rob, let's go here. Patrick Mahomes, we got sound. He was on CNN yesterday before the parade. Here's what he said.
I think it's more than just me trying to be the best that I can be. I don't want to have any regrets at the end of my career. And I know how great of an organization, how great of a coach, tight end, players that I have around me, and I don't want to let that slide by. I want to make sure I maximize my opportunities. And obviously the goal is always 7. It's always to try to get as much as you can. And so all I can do is just try to maximize my opportunities every single day, continue to work to be better, not only for myself but for my team. And we'll see what happens at the end of my career.
Goal is 7. Do you think, Rob, Patrick Mahomes needs 7 rings to be viewed as the GOAT?
I think he has to. I do think he has to get 6-1, 7-2 to at least match him. I do not believe. And for me, Chris, here's the problem I have. It's not how you start, it's how you finish that has a big effect on how people look at you. That's what turned Brady's career around and the way people view him. If Tom Brady would have won those first 3, Chris, and then went to 9 years and say he didn't win again, no, he wouldn't even be in that conversation. So it's John Elway. John Elway was a loser in Super Bowls, right? His team, and I'm not saying he was awful or whatever. I know he didn't play that great, and his team usually got blown out.
He was going to be a Hall of Famer, but yeah, he didn't play.
But his image,
he didn't play well in the ones they won for the most part.
But his image though changed with the back-to-back to retire. Is what I'm saying. So in Patrick Mahomes' case, I think that's going to be a big part on how people look at him. And here's the other thing, Chris. There's a couple things going that could work against him. And here it is. If he doesn't win once Andy Reid retires, if he doesn't win once Kelsey retires, like that is where I think people will be able to look at his career and say, man, you know what? Andy Reid retired, he still won. Kelsey left, he still won. Then you start to look at that. If those
you
guys
already can say it about Tyreek.
No, he did it once, but I'm just saying. But if he doesn't win, right? But if he doesn't win again in his career, there's no way.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's got to win more. But here's, and I agree with you on the Andy and Kelsey points, right? If they leave, I'm
just saying a couple years from now, yeah, and they don't win again or whatever, right?
Where I disagree with you at is, I don't think for him I'm not. Don't get me wrong. He does have to continue to win to some level. You know, I mean, he hasn't win more Super Bowls, but I think he's different from Brady and Elway in that, like you said, what made Brady was that he won later in his career. Well, but that's because Brady wasn't as good individually early in his career. Like nobody, even after Brady won 3 championships, Rob, nobody was thinking of him. I mean, GOAT. People thought he was a system QB.
Well, that's true.
It was in 07 when he got Moss and started putting up all these numbers. And then from that point, people started, even before he was winning, it was like individual, before he won his 4th Super Bowl, individually, people thought of him higher than they did when he was winning the Super Bowl.
But the only difference thing I think you're leaving out, and I get it with the first 3, but there was Joe Montana sitting there 4-0 and the numbers and all the records in the Super Bowl. So you're right, there was no conversation, but it had more to do with the guy in front of him.
No,
I'm just saying.
Brady wasn't even like It's like Terry Bradshaw. Bradshaw got 4 rings. Nobody was thinking of him as the GOAT. It was like Brady won these championships. He's a good quarterback. But, Peyton Manning, there are a lot of people that were ahead of him at that point because he didn't seem like a great. He was very good, but not a great individual player. And then we saw with Moss and what he did, and then they obviously went on to win Super Bowls. And Elway's the same way in that he didn't win early. So he had to win late. And Brady had to put up numbers and win late. Mahomes has already put up the numbers. We know how great he is individually, and he's won. So I don't think those are fair comparisons because, their career hasn't started anywhere near how his has. But as far as the ring count, Rob, I've always said because of how great he's been individually. He's got 2 MVPs. Brady had none at this point. He's got 2 first-team All-Pros. Brady had none at this point. Because of how great he's been individually, I don't think it'll take 7 rings. I've always said 5 if he continues, to be great individually, Rob, maybe win another MVP within that stretch and all that. But, Rob, and I don't know, I got to see if it plays out and how it would play out. But I'm going to say this, if he wins, if they three-peat, which has never been done in the Super Bowl era, if they three-peat and he has is great and individually great and all that, that might change my view. I have to see how it would happen. But a three-peat, something that's never been done,
that would be a feather in his cap, but that wouldn't seal anything because if he did three-peat and they had 4, I'll give you that. But again, he doesn't win again, and he plays 8 or 9 years.
But I hear that. I'm saying at this point, I'm just saying I hear you. But I'm saying at 4. Let's say this time next year he's won it.
At 4,
I think people are already saying not everybody, but I think a lot of people are just like he's the GOAT. Come on, he three-peated. You know what I mean? Now you're right. Maybe if the next 6 years he doesn't win again, maybe people are revisiting it, and even sooner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I still think he has to pass Joe Montana.
You're
I don't think he's done
the only
that.
one thinks he has.
I'm the only
Montana.
one. You know what?
I think he has.
You know what's crazy is the way you everybody discounts Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw actually has better numbers in the Super Bowl than Patrick Mahomes, but you would never believe that. No, but I'm just Chris.
It's a whole career.
I'm just talking about. It's shocking in the Super Bowl that people don't look at Terry Bradshaw as being much a part of, what they were able to do with the Steelers.
Well, I wouldn't. But I'm just saying.
Far.
Well, Bradshaw's a respected quarterback.
Yeah, but he was never. Even when he was 4-0, people weren't looking at Bradshaw going, "Oh my God, he's."
Yeah, but that's because he wasn't. Roger Staubach was better than Terry Bradshaw. Like Bradshaw wasn't viewed as like the best quarterback in the league. He only made 3 Pro Bowls, so that's where Bradshaw, gets hurt from like regular season. And again, he won an MVP. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, so he was very good. But he wasn't like the best player on that team by any stretch. But I think he's but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just about Super Bowls and Super Bowl performance. And that's what Mahomes has, the Super Bowls, but he also has the regular season, performances. So that's all I'm saying. I agree that if he won next year and then didn't win again, I think at some point during that drought, people would start to wonder, okay, is he really the GOAT? But I think if he won a three-peat and now a year from now exactly, we just celebrating their 3rd straight ring, I do think a lot of people, and I'd have to see how it played out because myself may be included, will be saying, oh, dude's the GOAT. I'm already saying he's the best I've ever seen. So that type of accomplishment that no one else has done. Now, look, Brady still got the no one else has won 7. He still got I beat Mahomes twice in the big playoff
Those
game,
are all the things that people
and
would
he was in his 40s.
right?
So those are those are things. But